The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. I'm your host Eunice Mugo. Today on the show we are talking about toxic masculinity. What is toxic masculinity? How is it affecting our society today? What roles does masculinity play in our society today, in our families? Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. I'm not alone. I have a guest with me who is going to help us to understand better about toxic masculinity. I will allow him to introduce himself. Welcome, guest.
Thank you very much, Eunice. My name is Benjamin. I'm a mind education specialist, and I also do counseling.
Welcome on the show, Mr. Benjamin. Just from the topic, toxic masculinity, it's something that has been on the rise with the current generation and in the society that we are living in. Growing up, we've known men to be providers, protectors, and anchors of the family, so to speak. We did have so much of violence. We did have so much of abuse, so to speak. But today we are facing a lot of that in our current generation. And we are having women overtaking men in terms of responsibilities, and also having women who have taken over. Men are, correct me if I'm wrong, feeling inferior, for lack of better words, but we find that if I as a woman am better than my husband, in most cases from statistics you find that the man is not happy about it. He will find a way to bring me down, saying that a woman should be submissive. To me, that is toxic masculinity, because as my husband, as my brother, I expect you to empower me, to support me, as long as whatever it is that I'm doing, it is right. It is not wrong. Physically, biblically, spiritually, name it. I'm on the right track, maybe on pursuing my career, bringing up a good family, so forth and so on. But you'll find a man who's just there. If I'm working and I'm earning higher than him, he wants me to quit my job, stay at home, later on not providing. Maybe his job is not as stable as mine, but just to show that he's the one who is in charge, he wants to belittle me as a woman. And it's a two-way. We're also having women who are belittling men. So to me, that sets in as toxic masculinity. I'd like to know from your end, what is toxic masculinity and how does it affect our society today?
Normally, as I speak, I always base my arguments towards the Bible. Mm-hmm. And when God was creating man, he created man, and then he said man is the head of the family, and the women are the neck. One thing that I know, these two things cannot work differently, because for the head to work, it has to be controlled by the neck. Mm-hmm. But now the problem is, now when it comes to the issue that the neck wants to be over the head, there is a lot of discomfort in that. And one, it is man who was made by God himself. And then Men always have this kind of a mentality that I have to be the one who is supposed to speak. On the other side, I don't want to say that I'm blaming, I'm not blaming
Sure.
that thing, but I want to speak about the girl child. The talk about the girl child, it has become so loud in such a way that the boy child went missing. The boy child became so powerless. But now the problem is, in them, there is that order of God, that these people are the men, and men have to become the head of the family. Mm-hmm. Because of that, they would always want to show that, of which is one of the biggest problems of the heart, because I always talk about the word of the heart. They would always want to show that they want to prove also that I am the man of the family, I'm the man of the house. But the problem is, it doesn't matter whether the woman has money. It doesn't matter, just the same way you are speaking about women being in a better position than the man. This is not the problem. This is not all about our topic today. Mm-hmm. It is simply because these people, from the beginning, there is a problem in their heart. I think last time when I was speaking about a tap, the water tap in the kitchen.
Sure.
If it is spoiled, people who do not have any experience, people who are not wise, they start repairing that. But people who have wisdom, they know how to run to the main source and they solve the problem from there. People only want to deal with the issues that are on the surface. But before you see anything coming up, it is started from the heart. So one of the reasons why people have problems nowadays, and we are expecting to see even many major problems, I really don't know whether this generation Z, that generation, mm-hmm. I really doubt whether we will have marriages during that time. Because men would want to prove that they are men. Women would want to also prove that they are women. And because of that, these two people cannot agree. Even as the Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree?
I have a question on that. You've mentioned two things that have caught my attention. Maybe to start with, about the empowerment that has been so loud that has made the boy child to be forgotten. For the girl child empowerment to come out and to be so loud, it was because I understand even from the Bible, women were not allowed to talk.
It is not, let me correct before you finish. Mm-hmm. It is not that they were not. Even today, the Bible does not change and say now they are allowed to.
Thank you for the correction. Now, having said that, if me as a woman, I am not allowed to talk, what is my take in this society? Don't I have a voice? Don't I have opinion? Am I not given the right to opinion? I think I do. And that is why the government and the constitution has come in also giving out the 2/3 gender role of equality. So that also as a woman or women out, we can also have a space to echo our voice, to be heard. Give our grievances, give our ideas, give our innovations. Have a say. We're not necessarily from the tradition stuck to stay in the kitchen like our grandmother did. We are only going out to do little things. That is why we are going to school today. What is the essence of me going to school if by the end of the day you're going to tell me as my husband to stay in the kitchen? I mean, I'm learning that from my aunties, from my grandmother, from my mother. What is the essence of going to school? If I'm going to learn to be a doctor, if I'm going to learn to be a pilot, then I should practicalize that, right? But now, from where I'm seated, the boy child, I do agree that they have been forgotten, but not really. Because even when we are looking at the school system, or also at home, the child who is more strong and who is more able to eloquent in terms of talking out or voicing out his or her problem, and this one who is always silent and in a cocoon, not able to fight for him or herself, the mother tends to support this one who is more silent than the one who is more talkative. Because as a mother, I'll say, this one can fight for himself, but this one cannot. That was the case back then. A woman could not fight for herself because they had no voice, but a man could and was in a position to do everything. That is why the empowerment of the girl has come out so loud. I don't know from where you're seated, if that is the same resonate as mine. That is what I had picked from that, of why a boy child was forgotten. And now, having been forgotten, and the Bible saying a woman should not talk in open, but rather I'm allowed to talk at home. And at home also, as the man of the house, you're not listening to me.
One, let's not talk about people being, as you are talking, I'm trying to think about many things. And then one time I listened to some lecture somewhere. And then, somebody was saying that people now are living with a colonial mindset, that I am the man of the house, I am the one who is supposed to talk. Another thing that I want to say, I don't want to say that women are not supposed to talk. They are supposed to talk. Yes, they are supposed to talk, but what is it that they are supposed to talk? When you look at the family, for me, I would say that family is a private affair. Why is it a private affair? It is simply because when God connected man and woman, these people are two people. They met together and then they became one. When they became one, then it means, another person is an old man. He said like this, when a man and a woman meet and they are married, then it means if they become one, then it means half and half met together and then they became one. Why? You came to my place, you found me having weaknesses. And then you find most of the time the people who meet together, my weaknesses are your strength. Where I'm weak, you are strong in that point. So people who are wise, women who are wise, they don't go fighting with the weaknesses that they have seen in their men. Rather, they cover them with their strength. But foolish women, and foolish men, when they meet their partners with such weaknesses and lackings, they want to portray that to everyone. They want to expose that to everyone. So now when it comes now to the boy child and the girl child, the voice of the girl child was so loud in such a way that they think, I am now the man. But let's look at this point. The Bible is always right.
True.
And it says, a wise woman, a prudent woman, builds her home with her own two hands. But a foolish one destroys. So the power to build or to destroy is given to the woman. So it depends on how do you want to build it. Or rather, how do you want to demolish that? Now the problem is here. Now we come back to our topic of today. Now men think like this culturally, because even in the traditional setup, A man was supposed to be speaking. But the problem is, God did not give them the power to build or to destroy. Now, people are getting to the positions that they are not supposed to be. And because of that, they reversed everything. Out of that, that's why you see so many problems. And I'm sorry to say it again, I don't think whether I have 3 kids. I'm really thinking about their marriage. I don't know whether they will get married, because sometimes
You'll be surprised by the end of next year calling us for some wedding. Anyway, away from that, having mentioned that the power of building and destroying a home is in a woman. And also, a man was created to provide, protect the family. If here we are supposed to work as a team. Where do we go wrong? You've mentioned something very important of exalting our weaknesses or our partner's weaknesses more than the strength. That is what is destroying the relationships and the families that we are having today. Where did we go wrong that we forget of, if your weaknesses are my strength, I should focus that more. And if my weaknesses are your strength, I should focus on that more. Where did we go wrong as a society? To an extent, now we are looking at the other person's flaws. What is the other person not doing? And also rushing into the, whatever my husband is not able to do, I'm rushing to do it rather than give him the time, space to do it for himself until he's in a position to ask for help. Or is it because men are not so good in asking for help from women? How is that?
rushing to do is not a problem. And doing it better is not a problem. The problem is, are you in agreement? Or is it that you decided to do it yourself?
Correct me. As we are bringing up children, I have this slogan, or rather, correct me if I'm wrong again, it's a quote from the Bible that delayed obedience is disobedience, right? So if you, as the man, know that you're supposed to do A, B, C, and you do not do it, yet you do not communicate or talk about it for some reason, then me as the woman sees that, maybe for example, we have children in school. The school fees need to be paid. For you as the man, is the one who pays the school fees. Maybe your paycheck is late, or maybe your contract has been terminated and you're not ready to talk about it. Or maybe there's there's just something that is holding back the finances. And here the children have been sent home. And me, I'm in a position to pay. So I go ahead and pay without asking, simply because the children have been sent from school and they found me, and I thought, he's not paid, let me just pay. What is the big deal there?
Okay. For me, Eunice, I think there is something that you have to understand very well. Why did you decide to go and pay? You decided to go and pay because you did not want to communicate.
No, because the children are sent home.
No, because you did not, because you have a phone, you would have called and then said. But the problem is here, let's not even go to, I said we only deal with the surface things. We don't get deeper to the point where it is. You know, let me tell you one thing, which is very important and very true. People are in agreement in doing many things. And you have to understand this, people left from God. And that's why he says, my people, for my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and then they hewn themselves cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water, which means they forsook God. That's why, for them, for you, why is it that you want to do these things? Why is it that you are not in agreement to anyone? You know, even the Bible is the one that talks about people cannot walk together unless they agree.
True.
Then why are you walking alone? Why are you deciding things alone? It is simply not because the children were sent back home. It is something that has been there. You're not in any agreement. That's why you can do whatever you want to do by yourself.
Really? If the children have been sent home, allow me to argue this out for many people out there. If the children have been sent home and you're supposed to pay, why didn't you communicate, I have not paid school fees because of ABC?
But I have a question. And then, are you in agreement that also you neglected that part? Why did you know that it was not paid?
Because the children have been sent home. That is how I've come to know.
You have come to know.
Yeah.
Which means there is something that you have neglected in life also.
What?
You don't know whether the kids are in school and the school fees is paid or it's not. Simply
The
because of this
kids are
one
in
thing.
school because I've been taking the kids to school.
Thank you.
Yes.
But there is this part that you have to agree with me. You have to discuss, talk, and analyze things together.
Where
But
are
now,
you?
there is now that disconnection. So the problem is not the school fees. The problem is not the kids. The problem is there is disconnection.
In terms of communication.
Yes. Not even communication, in terms of many things. Why? You got a point and then you feel like this. You know, even you try to twist your neck and then it comes to come above your head.
Either way, the head cannot function without the neck.
Thank
Have you
you.
ever had a stiff neck?
Thank you.
How do you move your head?
Just think about it this way. The head,
Hold on to that thought. I'd want us to take a short break and then we'll come back to that. Viewer, I hope you're learning as much as I am about toxic masculinity. Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa, or SMS line is 21144. We'll be back shortly.